If you're the only provider, then you will never have true freedom and you don't have a real business, right? So if you're the only dental provider with the exception of 3 hygienists and you're in 5 operatories and you're slogging it away and your overhead is 45% and your 30% profitability, good for you. That's a very, very attractive practice, but it's not a real business because you are not only the main cook, in this restaurant, you're also, the chief marketing officer and the office manager and,
HR
all of
person.
HR, everything else you're responsible for. So this is actually a good practice, but you'll never have freedom. When you want to go on a 3-week cruise or you want to take a month sabbatical away from dentistry because you've been doing it hard for 25 years, you're unable to do that without completely shutting off the revenue source. So that's a big thing that has come to my realization is that redundancy is actually freedom, right? There's a lot of people that talk about the lifestyle practice nowadays, and they talk a lot about what I talked about in the beginning is keeping things as simple as possible. Maybe 1 office manager, 1 front office, maybe 2 out front office, 2 assistants, 1 or 2 hygienists. That's cool, but you are very vulnerable to that human being leaving, getting sick, getting transferred, and you alone are going to be responsible for the actual main production in the dental practice. So I think the new lifestyle practice has to be a minimum of 2 providers, a minimum of 7 operatories, a minimum of 3 to 4 hygienists, as many redundancies as possible that the business can tolerate so that you actually do have true freedom and you can manage that thing and your personal production becomes an option. And if you love clinical dentistry, I would never encourage you to stop. But the fact is you can stop if you need to. I've had 2 back surgeries in my career. I didn't have the option to stop. I did not have the option to stop. I took 9 days off for 2 back surgeries. I should have taken 6 weeks off for those 2 back surgeries, but I was the primary provider in one of my practices at that time. And the income, the revenue would have stopped completely and people would have gone without paychecks if I didn't come in earlier than my doctor suggested. And it's just it's something that has come around in my reality that, and this is kind of how I teach now. Redundancies are really important. So you have to build a strong enough business so that you could build those redundancies into there, right? So I wouldn't add another associate or add on to a practice if my overhead was 85%. First, you got to get the overhead down to 50%, and then you have the flexibility to bankroll addition, or you can easily bring on another dental provider, et cetera.